Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's Ken, and this is another episode of the No Money Real Estate Podcast. And this is an in the car episode. And I have something crazy to talk to you about today. I just spent the last 2.5 hours driving from our office in Whitby to the location of our latest resort that we're purchasing. And I had this aha moment that happened. And it's all about making money in your life. And I'm going to talk to you about it right after this.
Hey, my name's Ken Dunn, and I'm a real estate investor. I want to welcome you to the No Money Real Estate Podcast. On this show, I'm going to interview elite level real estate investors from all over North America. And I'm going to help you to see one thing that all successful real estate investors have in common. They built their portfolios without using a dime of their own money. I've got a portfolio of $300 million in real estate. That includes resorts, apartment buildings, commercial buildings, and I built the entire portfolio without using a dime of my own money. Real estate is a business that anybody can get into, but the strategies that those tight real estate investors use to build massive portfolios have been kept secret for decades. Now, because of this show, I'm going to reveal them to you. So let's get started.
All right, listen, here's the reality. I know I move fast. I know that I can get a lot done. I know I get comments all the time from people that say, we don't know how you do so much. We don't know how you're managing all this stuff. We don't know how all of this is happening. And we don't know how you keep up with it all. And it's really interesting because for years, I've been receiving this feedback and I've been very appreciative of it. You know, it's nice that people see that. And I know a lot of this is happening because I'm trying to educate those around me, my fellow Canadians, about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. That's the biggest reason I run the podcast and I run this YouTube channel. It's because I know what is going to happen in my life in the next couple of years with the businesses I'm running and everything that we're doing as everything comes together. And I was just overwhelmed with this idea that maybe in this last phase of my life, I can inspire other people, other Canadians, to get out there and do it. Get out there and make it happen. Anyway, I left my home this morning at 6:50 a.m. because I had a 3-hour drive and I need to be here at 10. And I'm driving over to Eastern Ontario. So I've got a lot of time in the car. I put the cruise control on. I was listening to the CBC radio for a while. But then I turned off the radio and I started thinking, am I that special? Am I that different? Is this some unique God-given ability that I have where I can do more than other people, where I can make shit happen? So I started thinking about that. And I started comparing myself to other really significant business owners and successful people. And when I compare myself to those people, it's really easy for me to see that I'm inferior to them. And I have a lot to do and I have a lot to grow and I have a bunch of stuff to figure out. But when I look at the feedback I'm getting, what average people are saying to me, and I greatly appreciate all that. Then I compare myself to incredibly successful people. I found a couple things in common, which tells me I know what I'm doing and I'm doing things right. And it gives me the belief, it gives me solace to believe that I'm about to go to a whole new level. So let me explain this to you. If you take a look at the most successful people in the world, business people, people that have created new lives for themselves, and you look at them all, here's what you're going to see in common with them. They all run multiple businesses. Now, I'm not comparing myself to Elon Musk, but if you look at Elon Musk right now runs Tesla, owns Tesla. He owns Twitter, or X as he calls it now. He owns SpaceX. He owns Solar City. These are major corporations that he started from scratch and he runs. If we look at Bill Gates, while Bill Gates was running Microsoft, he actually started 9 other businesses that he was running at the same time. Essentially, what I'm giving you and what I'm explaining to you is that all of the world's greatest CEOs and most successful people, they did what I'm doing. They had multiple business interests. So when I look at why I'm running so many businesses at the same time, I go back to why I did it in the first place. And I wasn't trying to model anybody in particular. It was just, I've been an entrepreneur for 25 years and I've ran multiple businesses in multiple industries. And in a lot of my early days running businesses, I'd be doing my thing and I'd recognize another need that my customers had and I would never do anything about it. I'd just man, I could easily add this to it, but I don't want to do it. And Fred's looking back now, that was a mistake. So what we're doing now is I have a company that is building luxury cottage resorts across Canada. And I'm saying cottage resorts on purpose because that's what our niche is. And as we're building those luxury cottage resorts across Canada, I have a team of people that work with me that I get them to constantly be thinking about our avatar, our ideal customer. Who are the people that we want to come to our resorts? And this is a very, very important piece of advice for any business owner. With our team, we're constantly asking those questions and we've become really clear. So what we say is, okay, when our customer comes to the resort, what are they going to want to do? They're going to want to eat food. Let's fulfill that need. They're going to want to do tours of the area. Let's fulfill that need. They're going to want to go fishing because of the fishing opportunity. Let's fulfill that need. So we keep thinking of that stuff. And then if an opportunity comes along for an acquisition, for a company we can buy that provides the service that our ideal clients already want, then we would be foolish if it makes it cheaper and easier for us to provide that service and it gives us a higher level service to provide. Why wouldn't we do that? That's what we should be doing. So rather than just waiting for this thing to come along and saying, oh, does that make sense or not? What we're doing now instead is we're analyzing who our ideal clients are and we're building client profiles. So we can say, what do these people need in the future? What could we be watching for? And then that creates a hit list for us of things we watch for in the market. Let me give you a great example of that. 3 years ago, we were just starting to construction on our first resort project, which is going to be finished this year, and I'm so excited about it. But one of the things that we do with all of our cottages is we have 90% occupancy, which is the best in Canada in short-term rentals. So we started looking at why that's happening, and what we realized was it was our mini Nordic spas. So we created a concept that is like a Nordic spa in somebody's backyard, a hot tub, a cold plunge, and a sauna with a very unique layout to how it looked. And as we started scaling, we were having trouble getting the hot tubs and cold plunges and saunas fast enough from the manufacturer. So I went down and met with the manufacturer to see if I could help him improve how fast he did it. Like if he needed to raise some capital, needed some business help, whatever it was. And when I met with him, he ended up telling me, well, Ken, what I actually want to do is sell the place. So right away, we said, we'll buy it. Because it only made sense, right? Because like right now, we have another resort we're building up in Calabogie, Ontario, where we're going to add 9 mini Nordic spas. So 9 hot tubs, 9 cold plunges, 9 saunas. And we're talking $400,000 that it's going to cost us if we were buying that stuff at retail. But if we own the company, obviously we get a bit of a discount on it. So that makes sense from that capacity. Not to mention, with all of our cottages, hotels, and resorts opening, if we own that company, we can put a little sign on every property and say, if you want one of these yourself in your backyard, give us a call. So that just makes sense because it allows us to provide an even higher level of service to that ideal customer. That's why we do that. That's our whole business plan around that stuff. And so when I look at all the companies that I own right now, and why we're doing all this, it's because it all serves the same client. And that's the thing that I wanted to spend some time talking to you about today and put this in your head. So if you're a business owner, you start thinking this way. If you're a business owner and you have an ideal client, if you don't know who your ideal client is yet, you're already failing. So if you're a business owner and you're doing B2C or B2B, even if you're just a one-man show, sit down one day and go through this exercise and build an avatar, build an ideal client profile, and get into every detail you can about who that ideal client is, what age they are, what's their demographic, what faiths, what religion, what's their economic circumstances, how much money do they make, where do they live, what do they buy, what do they do in their spare time. Put everything in it. In our company's big enough now with about 60 employees that we have a team of people that we did this. And we have this avatar of the perfect person. Once you have that, start asking yourself, what do these people also spend money on? That will allow you to create a hit list of things once your company is doing well. Don't do this until your core business is doing well. But when your core business starts to do well, you got to be very careful because there's an old saying in business. You're either growing or you're failing. There's no room for complacency in business. You've got to keep growing your business. And once things start going well and you start hitting the capacity of your core product, that's when you start adding more products. So if you go through this exercise and you figure out who your ideal client is and what they do and why that works for them, and what their interests are and the money that they make, then you can turn around and start thinking about products in the future and what you do. And that's what I did. That's why I ended up now with 8 different businesses. And if you really take the time to look at it, they're all connected. Everything that we're doing in our company makes building resorts and providing a luxury experience to vacation travelers, makes that business easier and better and more efficient. That's the whole reason we're doing it. Now, let's get back to my original conversation. I started realizing when I started looking at some of these elite level entrepreneurs in the world, that what I'm doing compared to an average person is unique, exemplary. Listen, I'm going to keep teaching on this podcast how I do it and how you can go from where you are now and develop the skills, the personal skills to be able to do this at a higher level. I know when I look back at it, part of the reason I've been able to do this is by my ability to communicate and tell a story. So when I want to hire elite level people to work with me in my business, I need to sell the vision to them. I need to tell a story. When I'm raising capital for my projects, I need to tell a story. I need to get people excited about the story. And that's the most unique and special ability I have. And if you look at any of the world's greatest CEOs, they have that same skill set. So if you want to make a lot of money and you want to own businesses and you want to scale those businesses, you've got to focus on developing the storytelling skills. Now, what are the storytelling skills? Number 1, your ability to communicate, the ability to talk. Number 2, your ability to understand what's going to get people excited and marrying that to business fundamentals. So if you're raising money for a business, that business needs to have a strong business plan. It needs to be believable. It needs to be comparable to other businesses in the market. And you build all of that into your business plan and you build your story around the business plan. So the business plan has to come first. So part of developing these skills is making sure that you understand what makes a good business plan. How do you learn all this stuff? YouTube videos, podcasts, and reading books. That's the secret to all of it, my friends. Anyway, if you've got any comments about what I've shared with you in this show, go into the chat, let me know. I respond to all the comments on YouTube personally, and I always will, because I want to be there with you. If you're listening to this on the podcast show, on your favorite podcast channel, please give us a 5-star review. I need that motivation, even at my level, to keep going, and I appreciate you. I hope you got something out of this. We'll see you soon.